welcome to episode 3 of the Impact Zone. It's Sunday night. Let me turn the volume down here, and hopefully everybody's tuning in now. Started maybe a couple minutes late. Let's see who's in here. Nobody on the chat yet, but if you're watching, be sure to click on the live chat, and then you can go to the live stream chat, and then you can type in and you can ask me questions and ask us questions and what's going on. We have a great show planned for you today. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Of course, we're going to start with talking about the last surf that we had. It had a jam-packed week full of surf. Some good, some not so good. It depended on where you went, and we did have some good surf in the area, but for the most part, it was just a lot of wind chop. We're going to talk about that, show you a few pictures. We're going to talk about the upcoming events that's happening and some of the things that are happening to our area beaches, too, that you might be interested in to know. And if you look at the blog, wptv.com/surfing. You're going to know what I'm talking about, too, because all the information's in there. I update it all the time, and it's all great information for the surfing community across the area. Well, I'm meteorologist James Wieland for WPTV and WPTV.com, and I am the weatherman here if you're just tuning in for the first time, and I also do the surf forecast for everybody. I'm out in the water all the time, Palm Beach County and the Treasure Coast, too, sometimes, too, when I feel like driving. But this is a great show, always has very useful information, not just from me, but from you guys too. And I want to know everything that you guys are talking about and what you want to know too. So just get onto the chat line here. We had a great turnout last week with the chat and everybody on there. Of course, it kind of got out of control, so we hope that doesn't happen again. Everybody behave yourselves when you go on there. But just click on the little live stream down there and you'll see the little chat box that's going to pop up, and then you can start talking. Everybody got the hang of it last time, so we'll see what's going on. Only a couple of viewers right now, but that's all right. We're just getting started, and hopefully we'll get a bunch more out there too. All right, so first thing we're going to talk about here, let's pull up the web page here and look at what went on last week. Now, I took a few pictures. These aren't the greatest pictures in the world, but this is from Monday, and it just goes to show you kind of what the surf looked like in Palm Beach County, and it was pretty fun. It wasn't the greatest, but it was pretty fun. Had a lot of shredders out there, a lot of people ripping it up, and beautiful water. It was a great day. It started out rather chilly, about waist high, maybe some chest high little nuggets. And you see the wind was on it later on in the day too, but still some fun little sections. Look at that little bowley section right there. Not too bad. A little great section there. And some closeouts to be had too, that's for sure. I think that was Matt, wasn't it? Maybe. And some nice little hits out there. There's a really good shot here. Look at that. The lineup was pretty packed, as it usually is at this particular spot on Palm Beach. But the wave wedges up real nice, and well, if you don't get on that one point there, well, you're not catching a wave. There's a little bit down to the beach with my buddy Chris on the longboard. He was having a good time catching a few waves there, too. This is his buddy there. This guy's from Peru, and he really rips, too. Look at that little wedge there. That looked real nice. So there were some nice ones coming on in. It was much cleaner in the morning and bigger in the morning, too. I was down the beach a little bit, found a little peak, and it was real mushy, but I took the longboard out instead of the shortboard and had a good old time on some real mushy outside, somewhat chest-high plus waves, and that was real fun. And you see we're just clicking through them here, people ditching their board and getting run over. That's what I don't like there, so I usually try to find my own spot. There's a nice little outside wave. There's Paulie D right here. We had him on the show for our first show. He's got the longboard. No, it's real mushy, great longboard wave there, but just a real mushy wave, but perfect lines early on in the morning. So that was nice. Now, if you were lucky enough to Friday and early Saturday to go up coast, heard it was really good. And here are some great pictures here. This is from Second Light, and this is the original wavecast here. This is tip time here on Second Light, and this is at Sebastian Inlet, and just look at that. Oh, I missed it. I was working. Tough to drive up coast when you're working and instead of going down the street, but look at these pictures. Just a beautiful swell coming in with those light offshore winds before they came on shore. My buddy went up there Saturday. He said it was super fun. Gave it about an 8 out of 10. Looked nice. And boy, if you Friday I was watching the cams up coast too, the Second Light cam and the New Smyrna cam. Oh my gosh, it was really, really good. Just beautiful out there. Heard the Treasure Coast was pretty fun too. So wherever you went really up coast, you saw a nice little swell. And well, the Palm Beaches kind of settled down on Friday and Saturday and just had a little tiny swell. I did paddle out on Friday after work on Palm Beach, and a little longboard waves, maybe knee high. It was little dumpers. It wasn't that bad, but it was beautiful weather, sunshine, 80 degrees. It's spring break. There's tons of people on the beach, so you can't beat that. Look at that. Nice. So hopefully we'll get more waves like this coming up. We do have some more swell / wind chop in the forecast for you here coming up. All right, next thing we're going to talk about, let's close this out and see what we got going on here. We got, there we go. I want to talk about this too. If you haven't looked at this, wptv.com/surfing, I have this up here, and this is talking about, this is from the Sun Sentinel that we posted on here. It's talking about the dredging of the Lake Worth Inlet. That's the Palm Beach Inlet. They call it, the real name is the Lake Worth Inlet. And, you know, that's right in between Pump House and Reef Road. And they're talking about widening, or not widening, but deepening the channel through there so they can fit bigger boats that go through the channel there. And thus, the port can get more money by bigger boats coming on in, which is great for the economy and everything like that. But the concern is that, well, it may hurt the sea turtle population somehow. And, you know, they're going to do studies on that. What I find interesting is if you scroll down and you look at this, and the Surfrider Foundation, Palm Beach County, has commented on this too, and what they want to do is, instead of what they normally do is, you know, they put the barge out there, they go, and there's a big ship that sits next to the jetty, and it just go ahead and put this big arm down in the water, and it sucks all the sand up and it dumps it down the beach. Well, this time what they want to do, instead of dumping it on the beach, like on the dry beach, what they want to do is, and they're saying this will be better for the environment too, and Surfrider's supporting this too, is to dump it in about 17 foot of water and just have all that sand kind of naturally go where it was supposed to go in the first place, which was down the beach. Instead of on the beach, it's just supposed to be kind of floating down the beach, and the down drift of the sand will continue naturally, and they're going to dump it in 17 foot of water. What I like about this is almost like the same situation as Snapper Rocks. You know, Snapper Rocks, they dredge out, you know, up the beach a little bit, and then they dump it right at Snapper Rocks, and that whole right, that long point break right, is really a man-made wave because of the dredging that they do to clear that channel that they have right there. So I'm just thinking, of course we don't get as consistent waves as them, but if we dump this in 17 foot of water and we get a little sandbar action going there, and it kind of drifts all the way down the beach and kind of in, we may have ourselves a little point break going on there. The problem is going to be is where they're going to do it. Now, if they do it right around Reef Road, well, then that break's going to be ruined, and it's just going to be kind of the new Reef Road will be this long left, but maybe not that huge shrouping wave that comes on in. If they do it a little bit closer up into the cove, it might be a good thing too, because swells do get in there, or even farther down the beach will be real nice too, because then the transport of sand will be nice. So let me know what's talking about, what you guys think about that. Maybe go on Facebook. I posted this on Facebook too, and go ahead and read it, wptv.com/surfing, and just some interesting stuff going on right there for sure, what they're thinking about doing. Now, they dredge the inlet, they empty out the sand trap. They have a big hole that collects the sand, and they empty it out every year, and in March is when they do it, so they're just about to start emptying out. They're doing it at the Jupiter Inlet this month too, so you're going to start to see the tractors and the barges out there dredging the Jupiter Inlet sand trap and putting it there on the south side of the inlet, and they're going to do that also for the Palm Beach Inlet too, and empty out that sand trap. Alright, so a couple other things going on too that we're going to get to. If you look at wptv.com/surfing, we're going to go down to the bottom of the page and see the events that are going on. We're going to quickly go over these. On the 13th here, just in a couple of days, the Treasure Coast Surfrider is meeting at the Kona Beach Cafe, so check that out in Jensen Beach. You can click on it right here. And Palm Beach County Surfrider meeting is also coming up this week. It's the 15th, and that's at Longboards on Clematis in West Palm Beach. And of course we have on the 16th the opening of FAU's Surfing Florida exhibit, and that's going to be really super cool. I'm going to do a story on it on Thursday, so look out on WPTV News Channel 5 for that. Either Thursday, they're going to air it Thursday, or Friday, or even over the weekend. Friday, Saturday, that's the opening, but it's going to be open for a few months, so you're going to be able to go down there and check it out with just a whole bunch of great stuff. I have a link on the page, so check it out. I have a link on the Impact page and the Impact Zone page. It's right on the bottom. I'm going to try to put the links from now on beforehand at the bottom of the page there, so you can click on them as I'm talking about them. The Jupiter Nose Rider Quarterly Picnic is on the 17th. World Water Day is on the 22nd. And another beach cleanup in Del Rey from Surfrider Foundation is on the 24th. All right, and the big thing coming up next weekend is the Single Fin Showdown, and we're going to get to that too right now. And I'm going to show you a little bit, let's see where I have it here. A little story I did the other week on it. I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah, 2009. So we're going to show you this real quick. Let me make it full screen, and then we're going to call the guys there at Ohana Surf Shop, and we're going to chat with them and see what's going on. But just watch this real quick. It kind of tells you a brief overview of what the Single Fin Showdown is all about. Let me just make the screen a little bit better right here real quick. And here we go.
The Single Fin Showdown is coming to Stewart Beach this Saturday. It's a surf contest and event with a retro twist.
Most of our boards are single fins from the 70s, so it really brings a lot of the history of our sport and what brought us to this point with the modern day equipment, and kind of, you know, lets the people like us who are riding modern day equipment to go back in time and feel, you know, they felt like in the 60s and 70s.
Modern surfboards are made up of lightweight composite materials and are more streamlined with 3 fins in the back for sharper cutting and for a more aggressive surfing style. Now, back in the 60s and 70s, boards were thicker, heavier, and only had 1 fin in the back, requiring a whole different style of surfing.
I think a style that you use on a single fin, opposed from a shortboard that they ride today, like thrusters, it seems to be a little more drawn out style, you know, a style that kind of takes a little more finesse.
Along with all the old school wave riding, there'll be live music, pro surfers signing autographs, and a raffle for a custom-made single fin board of your own.
We make it a lot of fun for everybody. Our events are family friendly. There'll be something for all ages out there.
And it's for a great cause. Last year, the contest raised thousands of dollars for the United Way of Martin County, and this year, they're hoping to double it. Also, the
All right. Well, that's it right there, and it's a great, great contest. Always great things going on, and always a huge, huge turnout, though. Great event. That year we had great waves. The year before also had some great waves, too. Let's go ahead and call the guys there at the shop. They're waiting anxiously, so we're going to get them in on here and give them a ring. Dial them up. It's ringing. You guys there?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, man. I don't see video. What's going on?
Let me, good.
Is that better?
You got us there?
Hey, there we go.
All right.
All right, so joining us right now, Jordan Schwartz, the owner of Ohana Surf Shop, and Justin Beard from the United Way, and the surf columnist for Treasure Coast News, helps us out with the Treasure Coast scene up there. What's up, guys?
Not too much, man. Just hanging out in the shop at midnight on a Sunday.
Always great. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on the show. And, you know, the big talk this week, of course, the Single Fin Showdown, always a great event. Just tell people who haven't really heard about it, or maybe you want to be in it, what it's all about.
Well, this is the 4th year that we've done it. We started it to basically raise money for United Way of Martin County. Jordan runs a surf shop. I love to surf. It was kind of like it's something that we needed to do, because surfers in the community really do care about what goes on here. Ohana means family. It's Hawaiian for family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, it's all about helping people out, coming together, and just really doing something better in the community. And through surfing, we were able to start the Single Fin Showdown. And it's basically a surf contest where we take retro surfboards that were made in the 60s and 70s and basically have people ride them at random. So at the beginning of their heat, you're just given a board. Here you go, get out and ride it. No practice, no warm-ups, nothing. Just see what you can do. And then if you advance, well, you get to surf another board later on in the contest. But we're hoping to have about 125 people this year, and there'll probably be a couple thousand people on the beach, so it's going to be a good time.
Nice. That sounds awesome. And everybody always asks, too, well, where do I get a single fin? Do I have to bring mine? But you guys supply them, right?
Yeah, that's probably one of the more difficult challenges of running this contest, because like I'll grab a board that we're going to be using.
Yeah, show us what you're doing.
This board right here, it's a...
oh, yeah, that one's killer.
Yeah, it's a Bane. It's a classic retro, single fin shape. And what we do was a fin. But what we do is we basically scour the area for boards, and we have people that lend them for the day to the contest. And I think we've got about 20 shortboards right now. We're working on getting longboards. If anybody has a longboard that they want to let us use for the day, we could really use it, because that's the one division that's kind of hard to find boards for, is the longboard. So, but yeah, we basically just call up our friends in the community, say, hey, let us use your board for the contest, and that's pretty much it. So yeah, you don't even have to own a surfboard to surf, because we're going to give you one to ride the day.
That's awesome. Now go over some of the specifics, like if people really want to do this and really want to test their skills on one of these boards, what can they do? How can they register? How much does it cost? What's the deadline? And what time do they have to be there on Saturday?
Well, you can go to ohanasurfshop.com, and then there's an image slide that goes through, and the Single Fin Showdown is right there on the website. You can download the registration form. You can either fill it out, bring it the day of the contest, or you can, but it's suggested that you call ahead, because we're pretty much 3/4 of the way full for the contest, so we only have a limited amount of slots open. But yeah, you just call the shop. The number is 772-287-0041, and talk to Jordan, and we'll get you on the list. But we're not doing beach entries, because there's, we got 125 people you got to go through in a day. So
yeah, we have a couple surprises for everybody at the beach this year. It's a beach party. It's a fundraiser, but it's also for the entire family. We have the entire crew from Surfers for Autism coming out, so we're going to have their kids' playground set up, where we'll have games like cornhole and stuff like that for the kids. It's also Jenna's 10th birthday party, so we're going to be throwing a little birthday party for my daughter, Jenna.
Say hi.
Say hi, Jenna. Just having some fun that day. And
so a family-friendly event for sure.
Yeah, it totally is. We have 2 bands playing on the beach, and we also have a ton of stuff in the raffle. We have 5 surfboards to raffle. We have an autographed guitar from Jack Johnson to raffle as well.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Skateboard. So everybody that comes to the beach is going to leave with some. We have so much stuff to get out to the community, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Nice. So even if you're not a surfer, head out to the beach. There's going to be so much going on for everybody. Family, kids, everything going on. You mentioned the Jack Johnson thing. I got some pictures here that I'm going to pop up, and just tell me a little bit about what's going on there. Here he is. He's signing. What is this?
He's signing the pick guards. We couldn't mail the guitars to him, so we mailed the pick guards to him. He signed one to Ohana Surf Shop, which worked. And the other one is for the Single Fin Showdown. Jack's a huge supporter of community events and getting people involved, and that's what he does with the Fakula Foundation out in Hawaii. And we've been lucky enough from our friend Terry at Vintage Guitar Closet to get in touch with his manager. We wrote him a letter. We met him before, and he let my kids dance on stage with him. And through that letter and through Terry, kind of got very lucky, and he offered to do this for us, and we're very excited about that.
Nice. Yeah, you got to be stoked about that. Now, talk about. You said there was. I think Justin told me a band was going to be filming there on the beach for one of their songs.
Yeah, there's a band that's coming out of Bureau. They're Kea Vibe, and they're on the Supervillains label. They're kind of an up-and-coming band, and they're actually going to be filming a music video that day. So we're super excited about that because they're going to be playing on the sand, on the beach. So that's going to be really exciting to have those guys there. And there's another band that's going to
We have Project X, a band out of Jupiter. A really strong following, Jim Tolliver's band. He's also going to be judging the event. He's a professional surf judge as well. And then back at the shop, we're going to give you guys some more music with the Ohana Band, our favorite. They'll be playing while we give away the awards and when we do all the raffle prizes.
Yeah, Jordan brought up a good point about Jim, right, who's going to be the judge?
Yes.
Yeah. Our judges are like seasoned professionals, so that's one thing we really try to focus on is having guys who have been judging. They know this era of surfing, what style to look for, so you can, whatever you're judged on, it's a fair assessment of your ability. It's not just like we're scrambling to find people. We've got Spunky from Spunky Surf Shop, who has been with us from the beginning, and Gary Gerton with Coastal Angler Magazine. He's going to be one of our judges. So these guys have been around for a while, and they really know their stuff. So our judges are quality.
All right. Well, can't wait. Hopefully we're going to get you guys some surf. It does look like there's going to be maybe a little bit of something out there, some wind chop. But, that's great on the single fin. It makes it a little bit more challenging. So yeah, maybe you have a little bit of an underlying, easterly groundswell, so that won't be too bad. So things not looking too bad for you guys. We're going to have waves all week long, so for the people who want to enter the contest and want to practice, well, you got a full solid week of practicing, although it might be a little bit big tomorrow to be practicing on that, but maybe not, you can probably find somewhere.
I've been practicing on my single fin, so I'm ready. It's going to be fun. I just like to get out there and ride these things, and that's the other thing. If you've never ridden single fin, it's really a lot of fun. It's not like riding a longboard, although we do have a longboard division. A single fin is, it's all about the style. And, if you have any glaring weakness in your surfing, it'll definitely point it out because it's their challenge to ride. It's a lot different than a shortboard. So, and that's the fun in it, too, you just try something new.
We also have competitors as young as 6 years old out there, and competitors well in their 60s. So
yeah,
it's a wide group of surfers that will be competing too. So it's really fun to watch.
Nice. I like that it puts everybody kind of on a level playing field. They may shred on their own stick, but you put that lug underneath them, and it's a whole different story. So
it really is.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you joining me. This is Jordan and Justin, Ohana Surf Shop. We appreciate it, and hopefully we'll have a great turnout for you guys next weekend. And, St. Patrick's Day, too. Oh, wait, Thursday you guys got something going on, too. Let's talk about Thursday.
Yeah, thanks for reminding us. Thursday we're having a pre-party event at Finn's Waterfront Grill in Port Salerno, and it's going to be at 6:30?
6 o'clock.
Yeah, 6 o'clock, and we're going to have live music there.
Free buffet, spend happy hours, and a ton of raffles. Fans have been very supportive. We're going to do a 50-50 raffle to raise some money for United Way. And also, Fins is donating about 45 gift cards to give away that day as well. So we're very lucky. And we'll have live music from the Ohana Band as well.
Yeah, and you can get raffle tickets for the bike or the Jack Johnson guitar there, too. So if anybody has any questions, they can just check out ohanasurfshop.com. We'll give them some more info. But definitely come out Thursday night if you can make it, because it's going to be a fun party. And we like to do it like 2 days before the event so people can recover and be ready. So
great idea. That's thinking ahead for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it. Great event for a great cause. And I have all the links that you guys just talked about on the page, wptv.com/surfing, and just go to the Impact Zone Episode 3 and the Ohana Surf Shop, and everything's listed on there. So thanks a lot, guys. Good luck.
All right. Thanks, James. We'll see you, buddy.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
No problem. See ya.
All right.
All right.
That's good stuff.
So thanks to those guys for helping us out, and we always appreciate that. Here's the band they were talking about. I have this on the webpage too, a link to that. And good stuff. Just always great for the Treasure Coast there. Here's Ohana Surf Shop, their webpage, the Single Fin Showdown right there. You can go to it and just click on it. You can register. And I mean, I went, and it's a phenomenal time. Everybody's there. It's great. The weather's going to be warm, so it's going to be a really good time. Here's the FAU University Gallery is what I was talking about, and that's coming up this weekend also. There's old Kelly Slater when he was real young, but they have a lot of great stuff there. Again, I'm going to shoot a story here on Thursday and tell you more about that, so you got to keep clicking on WPTV.com/surfing, and we'll get that for you. Remember, we had Paulie DeMarco on the first time of the show, and one of his photos got in Surfline's February photo contest, so we want to help him out and make him win. So it's this photo right here. It's the breakers, and I mean, it's a fantastic photograph. There's the breakers right there, and the barrel going over Paulie's head there. He was in the water shooting, and we all know how it pitches right there, right at Clark. So it's a great picture. So go there, click on it. I have it on the web page. Again, if you just click on the Impact Zone episode 3, all these links are there. What you do is, you see it right here, you vote on this image, and you see it's right here. It's this one right here, and you just drag it in there, and then you hit submit vote, and let's see where he is now. He's pulled into second place again. Nice. He's got to beat this one over here. He's still got a long way to go, so help Paulie out, and let's vote for this one to get him more votes and to get him to win. That would be awesome. All right. Very good. Anything useful going on the chat? Oh, you guys still... I'm going to have to change this to where you have to sign in with your Facebook account, and then this may limit all the smack talk on here. But I appreciate everybody for signing in and helping me with this and chatting and just trying to read through some of this, and see a lot of people in here from Palm Beach and PB Boys Club. We appreciate you hanging out and watching with us. Let's go ahead and exit out of this. Now let's look at the forecast now and see what's going on for tomorrow and the next few days. Alright, I'm going to make this full screen so you can see it good. What we have going on here, we have a cold front that moved off the coast. Now, what's different about this one is it moved off the coast and we picked up those northeast winds right away. So it sent a little pulse of northeast groundswell our way, and that arrived this afternoon. If you were out early, it was like knee to waist high. If you're out late, it was head high to overhead, and bombs coming in with an east wind at about 25-30 miles per hour. So it wasn't the greatest, but it did have some size. What's going to happen is high pressure is going to start to break down a little bit, just a little bit, and that's going to help decrease the winds there, at least for a day or so. Now, this is a satellite that measures the wind speed over the ocean, and you can see it does it in stripes, so it doesn't cover the entire area, but you can see northeast fetch there still going and still going to be pumping in some surf. All right, let's check the buoys real quick to see at this hour what's going on. First, the close buoy 09, and it's 9 feet 9 seconds, so not the longest of period swell, but it was up to 12 feet earlier today at 3 o'clock, 12 feet 9 seconds with a east wind at 25 knots. It's about 30 miles an hour. Here's 29 knots, about 35 miles an hour. So it was pretty crazy. It's starting to drop a little bit, and I think that's a good thing because it's going to start to settle down. And once it starts to settle down a little bit, that's when it gets a little bit better, a little bit more rippable when everything's kind of in place, a little bit more groomed, not as much wind. So that's going to help out a lot. Now, this is Fort Pierce buoy, and you see the swells out of the east-northeast. That's important, so that means really down to the south, we might get cut off by tomorrow afternoon since it's more of an east-northeast swell, and the shadow of the Bahamas might get you. But the swell's pretty strong, 7.5 feet, 10 seconds. That's pretty decent, and it built from about 3 feet, 10 seconds yesterday. So that's pretty decent. The swell direction, like I said, east-northeast, 66 degrees. 45 is what we want to see, but, we'll take the 66. It's better than due east at 90. We wouldn't see hardly anything down here. So looking good for tomorrow. Now, I'm going to do this map. It's a little bit easier to see, so we'll go through it here. Here's big old high pressure. Notice right here. Notice this high. And what happens here as I click through the days, it's hardly going to move. It's going to kind of fluctuate in strength, but it's hardly going to move, really. That's 24 hours there. Well, and you see it hardly moved. 48 hours. You see a low forming off there, but don't worry about it. It's not in our swell window, so nothing to get excited about it. Here's 60 hours. Notice it's weakening a little bit. Winds are slacking off. There's not as many lines on here, so it means wind slacking off. It's a 1031 high, and it's moving over towards Bermuda. Let's go to the 5-day. This is the 5th day. It weakens a little bit more. We have a little low off here. It's not moving off the coast, so it's not producing any swell for us, but what it's doing is at least weakening the winds, and it may send another little backdoor front. It's hard to tell on here, but there is a little frontal system right here, and what that's going to do, if it dies out before it gets here, that's good news, because we're going to have another push of northeast wind off the Carolinas, and if we don't get the northeast wind surge here, we will get the swell, but we won't get the wind, and that'll be nice. Still going to be onshore wind. It just won't be, 30-mile-an-hour onshore wind. That's really what it's looking like right now, because this is a really weak front. Let's go to 7 days. This is a week out, and notice high pressure builds back in. You see a little bit more lines. The wind's going to pick back up for next weekend to give us a little wind swell, wind chop again. And notice even 8 days out. Let's go right to like the 10-day panel. Hardly any change from what we saw in the first place, in the first panel. So this weather pattern sticking around, and what it does look like for the long term is that we are going to kind of hang on to this pattern, and we're coming out of winter kind of the same way we went into winter, and that's with a whole lot of onshore wind and wind chop. So I think for March, the really extended term, the outlook for March and April is going to be a lot of wind chop out there, a lot of onshore winds. There will be a lot of waves, which is nice, but it's not going to be the most quality around here. It's going to be a lot of wind chop. So that's kind of the way we started the winter, and that's kind of the way we're going to end the winter. Hopefully by May, usually in May we get one big bomb of a swell to come on in and a big low to hang offshore, and hopefully by May we're going to do that again this year and kind of break off of this Bermuda high sitting out there pattern where we just get wind chop, and maybe we can get something more substantial in here. Just because, a lot of people asking too, just because we had a very warm winter doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to have an extra active hurricane season. They really found no correlation between warm or cold winters and hurricane season. Even though the water's a little bit warmer now, we may get at least a little bit better chance for an earlier start of a storm maybe forming in the Gulf or right off our coast, but it doesn't mean it's going to be a more active hurricane season. There's just no correlation that they found there. All right, so let's look at, this is the Navy wave model here, FNMOC. Make this full screen again, and we're going to go through this, and you can see, I'll zoom in a little bit here, move it over. You can definitely see that a lot of swell coming in. This is the swell. A lot of swell coming in right now, and notice kind of tapers off over the next day. That low up in north towards Greenland, that's not doing anything for us. And winds start to switch more off of the northeast out of the south, so that's not coming towards us. We'd like to see that switched around, but notice the swell really hangs on too. A long easterly fetch and northeasterly fetch going to keep some swell, especially up coast. Up coast is going to keep that ground swell in, while South Florida, blocked by the Bahamas, we can't pick up that east swell. We'll still get the east wind chop. There just won't be much swell behind it. And as you see as we go through the days, here, still hanging on to some swell. Boy, I tell you what, if the Bahamas weren't there, we would be getting so much surf from this type of situation. Even though wind will be on it, we would be getting a whole lot of surf without the Bahamas there. But that's not the case, and as we go through time into next weekend, notice here's that low that I was talking about moving off the coast. We'll hopefully pick up some northeast winds after that, and maybe push down a little bit more swell. But you still see some swell moving in here out of the east and southeast. So up coast and the single fin showdown and all that should get some waves. Maybe not the best quality, but you should have something out there. So if you want to recap the surf forecast, WPTV.com/surfing, and I got the surf forecast as the very first story up there, and you want to check that out. I think tomorrow will be about head high or so. Still be real choppy, but then the wind taper down a little bit. It won't be up to 30 miles an hour. It'll be 15 to 20, which yes is still pretty choppy, but things will start to settle down. They won't be quite as out of control, and I think we're going to have more lines in there and some nice swell. Best time for it is high tide. High tide's at like noon. It's usually better when it's choppy, when it's chopped like this at the higher tides, and the low tides have been extra low and extra high because of the full moon. That's going to start to taper down too. By Tuesday, I think the underlying swell is going to start to decrease too, so we're going to drop it to about waist high, possibly chest high the farther up coast that you head. And then by Wednesday, that's the interesting day where if we get that backdoor front to come on in and we start to see a little bit more push from the swell and a little bit less wind, that might be really good for us on Wednesday. So again, check it out, wptv.com/surfing. Tell your friends about this. We appreciate everybody for hanging out. We didn't have a whole lot of people this time, but we got a lot of talking on the chat here. People talking about ergo and all this, and let's see, anything going on. Somebody saying they're gonna snake me. That's alright, everybody does anyways. Don't get any respect in the water half the time, but it's all good. It's fun out there. You know, we go surfing to have fun. People got to remember that. It's not out there to, you know, be all angry out there in the water. I mean, I hate people like that. We're just out there to have fun, talk and have a good time. I had a great time on Monday with a bunch of guys out in the water that were just super cool. We just talked, caught waves, traded waves left and right. I mean, that's one of those good vibe days where everybody's just being cool and not a jerk. So, all right, so thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. We try to make this one a little bit shorter. We got it 37 minutes, but we got to cut it down to 30 minutes, I think, to make it good. So I appreciate everybody for logging in and checking out. And again, tell your friends and everything like that, and we'll see you out of the water. We'll see you out in the water, and we'll see you next time. Peace.